We've spent a lot of time playing roguelikes and almost roguelikes for this series. The high degree of replayability and lack of a finite endgame makes them ideal for streaming. But there's still a place for more classic, plot-oriented games on Twitch and YouTube, and not just the big AAA titles everyone wants to see. Enter Dropsy, an old-fashioned point-and-click adventure that will have both you and your fans saying the same thing. What the hell did I just see? Let's take a closer look. For a game about an almost universally loathed clown who's held responsible for the fire that killed his own mother and plagued by violent nightmares, Dropsy manages to be one of the cutest, most heartwarming games I've played in a long time. It's this unique blend that lies at the heart of the game's appeal, the odd mix of unsettling imagery and Dropsy's genuine innocence, creating something that never feels quite right. This is mostly a game about making strangers happy, about giving them big, sloppy hugs, but it never feels saccharine because of that underlying sense of dread. The resulting tone is unique and really quite mysterious, perfect for keeping people watching. I also think that the format of a classic point-and-click, with its item-based puzzle solving, works well when streaming. It's easy to get your chat involved when you have so many decisions to make and mysteries to unravel. I was relegated to forums more than once to find solutions, but turning to a well-populated chat instead would turn the tedium of looking up answers into a fun, interactive experience. That being said, depending on your broadcast style, if you and your fans find yourself at a loss for what to do next, it can be a lot of dead time just walking around, clicking random objects, and it's easy to see that getting boring. Unlike most games of this style, there's no dialogue, the interactions between characters instead represented by Sims-like graphics and speech bubbles. Usually, this slight obfuscation of exposition adds a fun, additional level of challenge to the game, but occasionally they only serve to make a relatively simple action more obtuse or inaccessible. The reality is that any adventure game is going to have its moments of frustration, walls blocking your path with no obvious way around. Some creators would thrive in those situations, involving their fans, using their personality to keep the content interesting, but it's also easy to see some being unable to keep the energy level up as they meander from scene to scene, unsure what to do next. In addition, while the music is outstanding, the graphical style, with its pixel-based graphics, is what I would call serviceable. The imagery is unique, but as far as presentation goes, Dropsy's visuals offer essentially the same style as myriad other quote-unquote retro-looking games out in the marketplace. With its runtime maxing out at around 6 hours, Dropsy is the sort of game that's best played in 1 or 2 sittings, letting the viewers who are lucky enough to join you that day hang out for the entire story. This type of game has a much more deliberate, slow playstyle, and I could see playing it too much getting stale fast. But, as a brief diversion, it's so weird and interactive that it could make that one day you play it an absolute blast. I also think that this is the ideal opportunity to bring a second person into the room and join you on stream. Having a second voice on the feed, reacting, giving insight for each puzzle or decision, cuts down on dead spaces and really enhances the group activity feeling you want to evoke in a game like this. Also be sure to take advantage of how easy this game makes it to get your chat involved. Use tools like straw polls to let your fans impact the game. Turn your stream into an active experience. Dropsy is a special kind of insanity, but never becomes so grotesque as to fall into the category of horror. Really, this is a heartwarming tale, with a sweet protagonist, with a healthy undercurrent of menace that makes the whole thing shine. Its traditional gameplay might be a little slow, but for a strong broadcaster, the opportunity presented by its weird story and challenging puzzles is more than enough to give you something different and fun to spice up your stream. If that sounds like something you'd be into, I'd say it's time you gave Dropsy a big, sweaty hug.